It is early. Well, for me it is. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm making a beef stew. So I need some of this to wake me up. Nice strong coffee. Oh, apologies for the barnet as well. That's because I got out of the shower about 5 minutes ago and I'm getting my hair cut in a bit. Once this stew's in the oven, I'm off to the barber's. But yes, we're gonna make a beef stew and dumplings, properly. Have you ever had a stew where even though it's been in the oven for like 4 or 5 hours, the meat is still dry? And you're thinking, it's been in liquid for like 4 hours, why is it still dry? And I'm gonna tell you why. Uncle Adam has got you covered. And of course a beef stew would not be complete without some delicious fluffy dumplings. And I'm gonna show you how to make them as well. Don't buy the pre-packed stuff, because like they're so easy to make by yourself. But remember, before we dive into this, don't you dare flipping skip. Watch the whole video so you don't miss a step. And if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe. Click the little grey notification bell. Allow all notifications, so when I upload a video, YouTube tells you about it, you can watch it and marvel in my culinary genius. But listen, get your face down here, because we need to talk beef. Moo! Now, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I've got another new lens. So this shot should look quite nice and stuff. But listen, the first thing that's going wrong with your beef stew is the beef itself. Stop going out and buying that pre-packed, diced stewing beef crap that you get from supermarkets. It's no good. And here's why. The stuff you buy in the packets is generally too lean. They're always too small. You know, they say bite-sized piece, but really they're too small. Because what happens is, well, there's no fat in it for a start, so fat equals moisture and flavour. And because they're so small, all the moisture in the meat just comes out, and even though you've cooked it in liquid for a long time, it's gonna go dry. Now there's loads of different cuts of beef you can use, but you wanna go for the cheaper, fattier cuts of meat, got connective tissue in, and all that lovely beefy stuff. I'm using shin of beef, but you could use brisket, you could use chuck, oxtail even, and I've done an oxtail stew on the channel before. And look, you can see all that connective tissue, that fat, and I know it looks like a mess now, but trust me, when that breaks down, it's going to give you a velvety, sticky, lovely stew. So what I'm going to do is take a sharp knife, and I've got it in whole pieces here. Like I said before, we want nice chunky bits of beef in our stew. And I'm just going to trim it up a little bit, just take off some of that silver skin, and just remove any gristly bits and really hard, chunky bits of fat. But listen, you don't have to wait for me to chop all this up. I'll see you in a second. Oh look, this is the kind of size you're looking for. Nice big fat pieces, no tiny little bits of crap. And all those striations of fat and connective tissue are going to take your stew to the next level, folks. You won't look back. But I'm going to get the beef into a bowl. Okay, to the beef then, we're going to add some plain flour. You want a good couple of heaped tablespoons. It's actually a dessert spoon, but they're roughly the same. And you want to mix that through and coat the beef in that flour. And this does two things. Helps it go nice and brown, but it also helps thicken the stew at the end as well. I'm not going to season it, because I've since learned that if you add the pepper before you sort of fry off the beef, well, the pepper's just going to burn, isn't it? And you're going to lose that flavour. Now we're going to brown the beef. Now I strongly suggest you open up all your windows, your doors, get your extractor fan on, because it's going to get smoky in this kitchen. But this is a sacrifice if you want a good beef stew. So I'm going to get my pan on, and I'm going to add just a touch of vegetable oil. Get it nice and hot. Now, you're going to need to do this in batches. If you overcrowd the pan, it's just going to stew and it'll go grey and you won't get that colour. So don't put too much in at once. Trust me, I'm a cook. Cooking well is lots of little steps done right, isn't it? Now what you want to do is get them nice and brown. I see far too often celebrity chefs going, oh, brown your meat, but then it still looks beige. You want to get a nice tan on your beef, because that's going to give colour and flavour to your stew. Won't take long at all. Nice high heat. It's going to take like 5 minutes. You just kind of turn them over. It's easy stuff. You see? That's what I'm talking about. That is the colour that you are after. Nice and brown. no beigeness. Beigeness is the enemy of a good beef stew. I have got to get a shifty on. I need to get this in the oven before I go for my haircut, which is in about 20 minutes. I've got to leave. Now all these bits left in the pan from when you fried off the beef, don't chuck it away. It's kitchen gold this, it's kitchen gold. So I'm going to get this pan back onto a heat. And I've got some Irish stout here. Stout goes really well in a beef stew. It's just going to add body, depth, all those kind of good foodie words. And I'm going to go in with about half a bottle because I want some for myself. And literally just kind of scrape the bottom of that pan, lift off all those beefy bits, the flour, all that good stuff. And after a minute or so, we'll get that into our dish. And I've got 2 cloves of garlic, we'll add that as well. Where did I put those flipping bay leaves? I had 2 bay leaves I brought in from the garden. Have you eaten them? Well, I don't know where they went. I've got 2 bay leaves somewhere. I've got 2 more. Pop those in. Got our vegetables here. Now you'll see I've kept them nice and chunky because this is going to cook down for a long time. So you want nice big chunky vegetables, and you can use whatever veg you like. I'm using carrots, I've got some swede and onion, so very, very simple. You can put other root veg in there if you want, potatoes, you could put parsnips in, but remember parsnips don't take very long to cook at all, so you probably want to add them towards the end. So I'm just going to get them in. I don't think my dish is big enough. Oh, it's a bit touch and go, isn't it? I'm going to add some whole sprigs of thyme. I'd say about that much. Nice little bunch. And if you put it in whole like that, it's just easier to fish out at the end. Just a pinch of salt. Be careful because obviously stock is salty. A liberal dousing of black pepper. And a little tip for you, Marmite. Yes, Marmite. You either love it or hate it. I love it. You don't want much. Like half a tablespoon, okay? Because that's just going to boost the umami, meaty goodness, flavours, all that kind of stuff in the stew. Then here I've got some beef stock, which we're going to pour over till it's just coming under the vegetables. I don't want it kind of swimming around in there. I think I'm going to have to transfer to a bigger dish. Yeah, I'll be right back. So I've transferred it to a bigger dish. How sensible of you, Adam. Plop the lid on. That is now ready for the oven. State of this kitchen now. Oh, flipping crap everywhere. But listen, that's going to take a long time. Can't rush a good beef stew. It's going to take at least 2 hours. 2.5, 3, maybe 4. Just leave it to do its thing. It's ready when it's ready. When that beef is nice and tender, all the veg is kind of cooked through, just leave it alone. You don't have to do anything else. And about half an hour, 40 minutes before you're ready to eat, we'll make the dumplings, we'll get them on top. They'll bake and go nice and delicious and fluffy. But listen, I'm sweating buckets now. I need to crack on, go and get my hair cut. So I'll see you folks in a few hours. I'm back with my new haircut. Do you like it? I just like the way you are, yeah. And I've got a new t-shirt on because I didn't want to go to the hairdressers with a t-shirt smelling of fried beef. That's not fun at all for them. But listen, the stew's ready, really, but it's not going to hurt to cook it a bit longer. It's had about 2.5, 3 hours, so now we can make the dumplings. Don't go buy packet stuff. Make your own, honestly, it's so simple. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Dumplings, they're like universal across the world. Every country's got their variation of a dumpling, and this is a British dumpling. Very simple to make. So we've got beef suet, we've got some self-raising flour. We're going to chuck the suet in the flour. And I'm also going to add some cheddar cheese, because why not? And I'm also going to add a generous pinch of salt. And we're just going to mix all those dry ingredients together. And then you want to add some cold water. Bit by bit. You want around about 200 ml, but it's never an exact science. You just want enough cold water to kind of bring it together into a dough. You don't want it too loose, but you don't want it too firm. Just a nice happy medium in between. And you'll think you'll need loads of water, but be careful because it does come together with very little water, to be honest. And there we have it. That is our dumpling mix. It's probably a little bit too wet actually, but it'll be fine. So we need to get that onto the top of our stew. Guys, look at this. What I do need to do is take out those thyme sprigs because they have done their job. And before we add the dumplings, I'm gonna taste it for seasoning. Just a touch of salt, I think. Doesn't need a lot, but it does need plenty more pepper. Give that a mix. And literally, all we're going to do is get our dumpling mix onto this stew. Just take a nice big dollop like that and just plop it on the top. Now you've got 2 options with dumplings. You can either put the lid on put it back in the oven, effectively steaming them. They'll rise up, they'll be nice and fluffy and soft. Or we can leave the lid off, and then when they kind of bake in the oven, they'll go nice and crispy on the top. But as we know, I've got a bullshit oven, so I'm gonna have to kind of work around that. But listen, if you've got a proper oven, you won't have that issue. So I'm gonna turn the oven up a touch, just to about gas mark 4, and that goes back in. And they won't take long, 30-40 minutes. They're gonna puff up, they're gonna swell up. And if you wanna serve this up with some mashed potato, get that on now. I won't show you how to do that because I've already done a video on it. You can have it with new potatoes, you could have it on its own with some bread. It's up to you. But the next time we see this stew, it's gonna be going in my face. Oh, look at this. Now look, I'm just going to show you how tender that meat is, look. I'm putting no pressure on that at all and it's already falling apart. So let's try it. Bit of beef, bit of carrot. There you go, that bite's for you. Open wide. Let's try it. That is gorgeous. It's so rich. The veggies have gone nice and soft and taken on that flavour. And as the late Anthony Bourdain said himself, is an overcooked carrot really a big deal? And it's not. Then we've got these cheesy, fluffy dumplings as well. Amazing. Guys, let me tell you this. If you're ever in any doubt as to whether British food is good or not, make this. And I promise you'll enjoy it. So boys and girls, there we are. Follow my instructions and you won't mess up your beef stew. I promise. But really, it's about the beef. Buy decent stuff, cut it into big chunks, make sure there's plenty of fat in it and connective tissue, and I promise you it will cook down into the most amazing thing you'll ever eat in your life. Seriously, make your own dumplings. So easy. But guys, what did you think? Did you enjoy my beef stew and dumplings? Because I certainly did. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, and this stout, by the way, is really nice. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, all that lovely stuff. And remember, hit subscribe. Do that. Hit the bell icon as well, allow all notifications, so when I upload a video, YouTube tells you. And then you can make lovely, delicious stews like this. And I'll see your gorgeous faces in the next video. And bye for now. Come on, Mogs, you can have a bit of this, it's nice.